Morning Blitz begins now.
Everybody, all together.
Have a great Friday, you mother...
Yes. Here we are. Good morning.
Good morning.
6:07, Friday. Jeff Logan in at 7:35 talking Buckeyes as we get ready to beat up on Purdue.
Aww.
What? What do you mean, aw?
I mean, I hope we beat up on them.
Yeah, well, you can't, no. You can't go aw and then say you hope we beat up on them. Just, you know.
Purdue is a fine institution.
Sure. Just not a very good football team. But, yeah. I mean, they're all, Northwestern's an amazing institution. What's their chant?
What?
It's all right. It's okay. You will work for us one day.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah, when they're losing football
that's
games,
right.
That's what they chant over at Northwestern. But a fine institution.
I started my morning with quite a challenge. 161 westbound is closed at Hamilton Road. Okay, they're doing some type of a shooting investigation there.
Oh.
I didn't know that, but typically when it's closed right there at Hamilton, it's because they're doing some work, some bridge work,
yeah.
And then you get off on Hamilton Road, and then they'll let you right back on 161 West.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't get back on 161, and I'm like, where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to go right now?
Where did you go?
I ended up rerouting myself through Gahanna to get onto 670.
Gahanna's a nice town.
It sure is, but it's way out of the way. No, I mean, it's fine. And I had my, my Google Maps and all, so it was good. But there were no detours. I don't expect they had much notice if there was a shooting over there to give me a detour.
Right.
But I was like, where in the heck am I supposed to go? There's not an easy way back onto a main, thoroughfare from Hamilton Road in New Albany. Anyway.
You made it. You made it.
I made it. And I got a nice little tour through Creekside.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's beautiful.
It
very
is.
Vacant
Yeah.
at 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
I will tell you that.
Well, I'm sorry to Mike and Doug and all of our other Bengals fans, man. That was a hell of a game last night. I felt like it was a must-win for Cincinnati, but right down to the end. And they could have tied it and gone into overtime. They chose to go for two and came up short. Lost by a point. But, yeah.
I'm
man,
sorry.
The first game they played went into overtime. The Ravens won it. So Cincinnati's like, yeah, we're not going to overtime. We'll just score two here and win. And they didn't get the two, and they lost. So, but amazing game by Burrow. 428 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 264 of those yards and most of the touchdowns. And
as bored as you were with my driving story this morning,
I know.
that's how
I'm
bored
just
I am.
I feel
kidding.
for the Bengals fans this morning. That's all. I just feel bad for them. That was a rough loss. They really needed that one.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not a Bengals fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I know so many of them.
How are the Cowboys doing this year?
They're a mess. It's a disaster in Dallas. Yeah, they're going
Okay,
nowhere.
now I'm sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry.
Be
about
relevant.
It. Look, it happens. It's like players, Dak Prescott, the quarterback, he's out for weeks now. Who knows how long? And not that they were going to win when he was there. So, just one of those years. It's a disaster. So they're not going anywhere. There's a couple of new movies out today. Hugh Grant.
Okay.
He's playing this nice old man. It's called Heretic. He opens his door up, and there's 2 young Christian missionary girls there, and he invites them inside and then proceeds to trap and terrorize them. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting.
Heretic. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Hugh Grant.
A suspense thriller thing, yeah.
I feel like you can't go wrong with Hugh Grant.
I know, it just seems like so out of character for him. He's like the rom-com guy.
Yes.
And now he's this old man terrorizing 2 young Christian missionary girls in his basement. What? And then the other one's called Elevation, and it's a post-apocalyptic monster movie where the planet's been overrun by creatures that have wiped out most of humanity, but for some reason they cannot go higher than 8,000 feet in elevation.
Okay.
I know, right? And the survivors obviously take refuge in the Rocky Mountains because they can get up above 8,000 feet and the monsters can't get them. However, Anthony Mackie, who's in the movie, his son in the movie, has respiratory problems, of course, and the only way to keep his oxygen machine running is to head back down the mountain to find replacement parts.
Oh, know, it's so convoluted, but I love it. What's this called again?
Elevation.
Elevation. All right, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes because they've all got their reviewer scores right now. Elevation gets a 50%. Heretic with Hugh Grant gets a 94%.
Wow.
Approval rating. It's considered fresh.
That's really high for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. 50% is a green splat.
Well, if you read this, they can't get higher than 8,000
it sounds
feet.
silly.
And I got to get my son's oxygen machine working.
It sounds silly, but I might like to see it anyway.
I know. It could be funny. I don't know. I want to see what these monsters are, though. Doesn't say zombies. It just says overrun by creatures. And it's post-apocalyptic, so I'm assuming it's radiation or something has turned people into this, but who knows? So, yeah, Heretic and Elevation, the two big new movies
I
today.
want to see Heretic. I'm into it.
All right, we've got another final shot at Jerry Cantrell tickets for his show at the Bluestone, February 18th, and also Theo Von coming up Thursday at the Shot. We'll give Theo Von tickets away just after 7, Jerry Cantrell just after 8 right now. Morning Blitz trivia. Trying to word this properly. Okay. This iconic Columbus Christmas feature is back this year, and it will be at the Columbus Metropolitan Library. There you go. This iconic Columbus Christmas feature will be back this year at the Columbus Metropolitan Library. What is that feature? Be the first one to tell us at 99-700, and we will give you $25 to Waterbeds and Stuff and Beds and Stuff Superstores. Offspring on the Morning Blitz, 625 with Kelly Quinn and Thick Rick. Our Morning Blitz trivia question this morning. What iconic Columbus Christmas feature is coming back and will be at the Columbus Metropolitan Library? Kelly, you said you had 2 guesses.
Well, I do. Now, my first guess is the State Auto Nativity, that life-size nativity display. Like, my parents took us downtown every Christmas to see 2 things. So these are my 2 guesses. The life-size nativity display at State Auto and... Oh, that's not it?
That's not it.
And the gigantic Christmas tree at Lazarus. Is that it?
That's it. The Lazarus Christmas tree. Now, we talked about this, had to be a couple years ago, that, it was back, a replica of it was back.
Just the lights, like the light Christmas tree, right? They hung the gigantic lights in the shape of a Christmas tree on top of Lazarus.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, no, the talking tree, the big talking Christmas.
I'm not even sure if I know that.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Let me see.
I don't know if I have a picture.
I know I'm talking about the gigantic light display in the shape of a Christmas tree on top at Lazarus.
The big tree inside Lazarus that had the face. The tree would talk to the kids.
Oh, Wake Up Mr. Tree? That guy?
Is that what he was called?
Mr. Tree from Lucy's Toy Shop? That one?
Maybe that is it. Just Google Lazarus talking Christmas tree. You'll see it. And then you'll remember. We talked about it a couple years ago.
I know, but that was the Lucy's Toy Shop one.
Oh, maybe maybe that's what it was called that it was in. Yeah, I don't know. It was annually at the store.
Or maybe I'm crazy. Maybe
throughout
that
the
wasn't
80s and 90s.
I know that one. It was by the toy department.
Yeah.
In Lazarus. Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes it really freaked kids out.
It is the freakiest thing.
It's kind of creepy, yeah.
It's a creepy tree. So they're bringing this back, huh?
Yeah, and they had a replica of it a couple years ago, and I remember we talked about it, and I don't remember where that was, but now this year it's going to be at the Columbus Metropolitan Library.
There were stories when we talked about it before, and this is true, where you could stick your hand in its mouth and it would lick you and tell you what you tasted like.
Yes.
I mean, that's not right these days, is it? We've got laws against those kind of things now, I think. But yes.
Oh, that's funny. So there's a local special effects artist, Todd Reed. And he was friends with Gordon Keith, the creator, and he received the remains of the original tree. I remember we talked about that a couple years ago, and He recreated it using a mold, and he featured it in his own holiday display last year. And so coming up on November 20th, we'll be at the main branch of the Columbus Metropolitan Library.
Okay, FYI, the talking tree in Santaland at Lazarus is not the same as Mr. Tree on Lucy's Toy Shop. They're two different trees, all right?
Okay.
So I'm the confused one here, but I do absolutely remember the talking tree at Lazarus. And, well, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be interesting to see again after all these years.
Yeah, if you go to 614now.com, 614 Magazine's website, you can see a picture of it. And there was a kid in a squirrel, or somebody in a squirrel costume who was, instead of an elf, it was somebody in a squirrel costume next to the tree, and little kid looking at it scared to death.
Yeah, that's because the tree just told him he tasted like black licorice.
Right. That is so weird.
I hope the tree tells me I taste like black licorice. That's my favorite thing in the world.
Jeez. All right. Well, Mark Schlerin from Mount Sterling was the first one to text in the correct answer, so Mark scores $25 to Waterbeds and Stuff.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
6:40. I didn't turn my own mic on that time. 6:40 with Thick Rick and Kelly Quinn on a Friday. I wanted to mention the nativity scene, Kelly.
Yes.
Oh, now where'd it go?
Oh, no, it's at like a cathedral now. Somebody bought it or used it, or it was
State Auto got bought out by another company. There it is, Katie the opera singer, and they donated the nativity set to the Catholic Church. They set it up now at St. Joseph's Cathedral.
Yep, that's right.
By the way, Katie said she will be singing there on December 14th with the Columbus
Manor Corps. Very nice.
Manor Corps. Thank you for saying that. Did you realize quickly that I had no idea how to pronounce it?
I did.
What is a Manor Corps?
Columbus Manor Corps.
Is that like some other way of, it's like a part of like choir? Is that what it means? I don't know. Manor Corps. I didn't know what Manor Corps was.
I don't know. I think it has to do with a German society in Columbus.
All right.
It's like a German club or something like that. Is it all singing? I'm not sure. You can let us know, Katie.
Katie will be singing.
Yes.
And regarding the Lazarus tree licking you and telling you what you taste like.
Yes.
Justin said, man, that sounds like some Diddy-ish.
There's going to be a Lazarus Christmas tree list that comes out.
Right. All right, you got something?
I got something. Well, those of us who love Wordle, connections, mini crossword, our New York Times puzzles, we are being asked to sacrifice right now because more than 600 unionized tech workers at the New York Times are on strike. And they are asking those of us who are daily Wordle, connections, spelling bee, mini crossword players to stop playing the games until they reach a deal with management.
Oh, they want you to boycott.
They want you to boycott.
I thought they were going to ask you for money.
You're also being asked to boycott the New York Times cooking app. The workers went on strike Monday, the day before Election Day. They include software engineers, product managers, data analysts, and designers. And these are the workers who program essential functions like push alerts, live blogs, homepage designs, and the games.
Well, if they're on strike, how is there a game to play?
You know what? I don't know if they work way ahead, and then these things are just scheduled to publish at midnight every, and so
probably.
then they've bought themselves some time here. I'm not exactly sure, but I guess that the strike is over some labor issues, multiple labor issues. One of the labor issues that they're upset about is that the New York Times has a return to office mandate. And these data analysts, designers, product managers, the game creators and all that, they work remotely. They're like, we're not giving that up. We are not moving to New York City to come work in the office. And so that's one of the big things they're battling here. So anyway, you're being asked to give up the games until the union reaches a deal. So
all right.
Just passing along the info.
So what, are you going to join the boycott?
Big Rick, I have to make a public statement about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely support a fair work experience for people. I mean, am I going to stop playing Wordle? I don't play it every day.
Okay.
It's not a giant sacrifice for me to just say, I'll play it when you guys make a deal. I like a union. I like a union. You know?
I understand. You know? Yeah.
And I like the fair treatment of laborers and workers. And, you know, I like for there to be an equal voice in the bargaining room. You know? Not just the little worker versus the giant corp.
Right. I get it. I understand.
I didn't answer your question.
That's okay.
Yeah, why
You don't
not?
have to.
I'll give it up. I can make my decision today. I'm done,
You don't
guys.
even have to make a decision today. By the way, Jana said you were right the first time. Jana is her name.
Jana. Okay.
And Katie said that the Columbus Manor Corps is the oldest German singing and social club in the United States of America.
Well, how about that? That's very cool.
Yeah. All right, I've got something. Someone passed away.
Oh.
Yep, the man who said this.
You've got mail.
No way.
Yes.
Our buddy. From the AOL days.
Elwood Edwards, the You've Got Mail guy.
You've got mail.
70. He was a day shy of his 75th birthday. Passed away Tuesday after a long illness. Elwood was paid $200 in 1989 to record Welcome, You've Got Mail, Files Done, and Goodbye.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Files
You've got
done.
mail. Files done.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yes.
$200.
$200.
In 1989.
And every human on planet Earth of a certain age knows this guy's voice.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's something. Man, yeah, there's no royalties in that. There's nothing, you know.
Okay, let me ask you this. I know there are people out there who still have an AOL email address. I know it. Or are they all defunct?
Oh, no, I think they're still AOL.com.
If you still have an AOL account, do you get the You've Got Mail still?
That's a great question. I have no
Somebody, you have to
idea.
text it 99700 and let me know if you still have an AOL account, if you still get that sound. You've Got Mail.
AOL.com is still there.
Yeah.
It's definitely there.
All right.
There's the mail thing. I don't have an account.
Aw, Elwood. Rest in peace.
Elwood Edwards. You know that he, like I said, he only got $200 for that in 1989. He became an Uber driver. Elwood did. And in fact, there's a girl who actually ended up being a rider in his car.
This is my Uber driver, and he just told me something very special, that he's the voice behind...
Welcome. You've got mail.
No way! Do it again.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Yay. Okay, what's your name?
Elwood Edwards.
Elwood Edwards. Thank you.
You bet.
That's hilarious.
That's what a fun ride that must have been.
That was in Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah, he was an Uber driver in Ohio.
He worked at a Cleveland TV station for years.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he was like a jack of all trades at this TV station in Cleveland. So anyway, rest in peace, Elwood.
Yeah.
You've got mail.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Foo Fighters on the Morning Blitz at 6:52. That's Kelly Quinn. I'm Thick Rick. Happy Friday. Man, people are busy on our text line, 99700 if you want to text us. A lot of texts coming in this morning.
Yes, people say that the AOL email address in many cases here still have that You've Got Mail sound. Martin from Grove City texted and his neighbors have it, and it says You've Got Mail. So that's
AOL. Man, I came out. I was remember when that came out. That was like before social media, before the full-on internet got so big and everything. AOL. It was just because you had everything all in one place. You know, it was like just...
Yeah, like the chat rooms. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
like
but
the
it had
AOL
everything.
chat rooms.
Yeah, sports, news, entertainment. There were games, everything. Yeah. And then, of course, that led to eventually what we have today. Social media.
Yes.
So we have... I know that Meta in these places, you have to be 13, right? In the United States.
Yeah, I think you have to say you're 13 years old to be on any social media, maybe?
Yeah. You have to say you're 13.
Yeah, they don't check you. They don't check
I know.
They don't check your ID or anything.
And I thought that was the whole big thing. They wanted to make it so that you had to like get your parents' consent and be able to prove it, and that, but they're not going to do that. Australia's looking to make it 16. They say you got to be 16, and they're about to pass a law later this month. Well, they're about to vote on the bill, but they think it's going to pass by a landslide. And then it will go into effect 1 year later. Why is that? I guess they give the social media companies time to prepare.
Yeah, I think there'd be a lot of, I don't know, wouldn't you have to rework your entire program?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's as simple as going in and changing the date, so that it's 3 years more on top of the 13.
Yeah, if
I don't know.
Facebook, I'd be like, yeah, we'll change it so you have to be 50 to be able to use it. People are going to use it anyway.
Here's Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
This one's for the mums and dads.
Mums and dads.
Social media is doing harm to our kids, and I'm calling time on it. The onus will be on social media platforms to demonstrate they are taking reasonable steps to prevent access. The onus won't be on parents or young people.
I don't know if it should be banned, but I think there should be more restrictions.
I don't think all social media is bad. I just think it should be very heavily limited.
It's just really easy to bully people on social media.
All social media is not bad, just all the social media that the kids are accessing. One advocacy group, though, called it a 20th century response to a 21st century problem. The head of Meta said, the head of safety at Meta said, they'll respect it if Australia goes through with it, but that it might just make people feel better and not really do much because kids just lie about their age and it just kind of moves underground and they'll still manage to log on. They'll just hide it. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what you do. 13, 16.
I mean, it's pretty much going to come down to just being a parent.
Yep.
And then I guess you just sort of have to trust your kid outside of the home, and they're all going to be online. So,
well, if they got a smartphone, you can't stop them. When they're at school or when they're not around you, they're laying in bed, you're in bed at night, they can be all over that if they've got that smartphone. So
maybe that's the next big thing, or is there already something out there where there is a smartphone that's capable of making phone calls and texting, but...
Yeah, flip phone. Yeah, they're out there.
And internet accessible, but not social media accessible.
I don't know how you stop that. Unless it doesn't allow you to have apps or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. You still log on from Google, so I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. I'm just glad.
I'm like Steve Jobs. I have the great ideas, but I don't know how to implement them.
I'll tell you what to do. Y'all have to do it.
Right.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
Roscoe's Market on Sullivan Avenue is allowed to stay open if it bans prostitutes. That is the deal the city of Columbus has made with the owner of Roscoe's Market. The city sued Roscoe's last month, claiming the business is a nuisance, that it's a haven for prostitution, a haven for drug-related activity, and violence.
Just on the hilltop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So under the agreement, the market has to ban people they know have sold sex on the premises. It has to stop selling drug paraphernalia in the store. It has to have its trash picked up daily. And it has to maintain working surveillance cameras. Also, if anybody comes onto the property who's banned, Roscoe's has to make a list of those people, and that list has to be accessible by Columbus police.
Wow.
So,
that bad.
Apparently so. If Roscoe's fails to comply, the city says it will move forward with possibly shutting the place down. Susie Wiles, a senior political aide who steered Donald Trump's campaign for president, will become his White House chief of staff and the very first woman to hold the position. President-elect Trump made the announcement yesterday. She is the first appointment of his new administration. He said, quote, Susie's tough, smart, innovative, and is universally admired and respected. And he says, I have no doubt she'll make our country proud. Susie Wiles is the daughter of the late NFL broadcaster Pat Summerall. She does have a little experience in Washington. She was a scheduler for Ronald Reagan, and she worked on Capitol Hill.
Look what happened. Is this crazy?
Well, the fate of the Menendez brothers is uncertain after Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon lost his bid for re-election. Gascon last month recommended that the brothers be resentenced for the 1989 murder of their parents and basically be paroled immediately. Right now, they're serving life in prison, but defense attorneys say they have new evidence about the abuse the brothers suffered at the hands of their father. Incoming DA Nathan Hochman says he cannot make a decision on the case until he reviews all the evidence. And he apparently takes office December 2nd, and the resentencing hearing is set for December 12th. So we'll see if he's got enough time between the 2nd and the 12th to decide on a resentencing. The Menendez brothers, of course, have been in the headlines recently thanks to that Netflix true crime doc, Monsters. And those are your three things.
$7:09 at the Morning Blitz. Thick Rick and Kelly Quinn. Can I hear that?
On the highway to hell.
Yeah, I heard that coming out of that song. Like, man, look, Kelly.
You remember yesterday I told you that I was shamed out of singing for a long time,
Right.
but now, buddy, I have a microphone. I'm going to blast all your ears with my terrible singing.
Nobody minds. Nobody minds. We're like, bring it. We want more. All right. Tickets to see Theo Von coming up Thursday at the Shot, and we will give those away this hour. You want to listen for Avenged Sevenfold, Shepherd of Fire. When you hear Shepherd of Fire by Avenged Sevenfold, start calling 1-800-821-9970 and caller number 16. We will give you tickets to that concert. So, very simple.
Yes.
So that's coming up before 8. We got Jeff Logan coming in here in less than half an hour to talk Buckeyes. But right now I want to ask you, Kelly, would you rather? What would be worse to find under your bed?
Ew.
A dead person or a living person?
Oh, I'd rather find a dead person.
Yeah. Right?
Way rather.
Right?
Yeah. Are you the same?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like if my son was hiding under there, it'd be one thing. But obviously, we're assuming a stranger.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah, that is important to clarify.
Might be somebody who hangs out at Roscoe's. I mean, we don't, we never know what you're going to find under there.
Yeah, well, I hope.
I'm talking about a living person. You know.
I mean, you've paid for that, haven't you?
You know what? Living or dead, it might be somebody who was at Roscoe. I'm sorry, I'm ragging on him bad, but clean it up over there, guys. Come on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so the poll was almost deadlocked, and I thought I'd throw that out there and see what you guys thought. What would be worse?
And it is a stranger. Would you rather find a stranger
it's somebody
living
you don't know.
or dead?
Right. Either way, yeah. Would you rather find a dead person under your bed or a living one? 99-700, you can text in, or 1-800-821-9970. We'd love it. Give us a call. Volbeat on the Morning Blitz, 722. And just a few minutes ago, Kelly did a story about Roscoe's over on the hilltop.
Sullivan Avenue.
Yeah, we got all kind of texts about it over there.
All right, so the story is basically the city's like, we're going to shut you down unless you stop allowing prostitution, you stop selling drug paraphernalia, you clean up the trash every day over here, and you have working surveillance cameras.
Right, and so our news director just walked in and showed Kelly something.
Well, if you... Now, I'm not saying anything. I don't know this person's story, but if you look at the street view on Google Maps of Roscoe's, there is a woman sitting in front of Roscoe's.
It's a hooker.
I don't know about that. You don't know what she's doing, but she is sitting down behind a railroad tie. Like, I'm not quite sure why you would be sitting there in a, it looks like some type of a black... shorts, no-sleeved. I don't know what's going on, guys. But anyway, to their point, it looks like there is some untoward things. There are some untoward things happening at Roscoe's, and it is documented on Google Maps.
Wow.
Now, she may just need to sit down for a second to find something in her purse, and she's on foot. Maybe she needs to crouch down there and get her lipstick out of her...
Sure,
her chapstick because she's got chapped lips.
Sure.
You don't know. You can't say.
I'm going with what Mark said.
You can't say.
You're outvoted.
But typically, never mind. I'm not even going to go any further.
All right.
It kind of actually makes me feel bad for even saying it, for talking about it. I'm sorry.
we got
She's probably in a bad situation, and it's not funny. It truly isn't funny, but they do have a bad crime problem on Sullivan Avenue in that area. It's a nightmare, and wow. When you can't even do a Google Maps drive-by without catching some crazy things going on at Roscoe's, you've got a problem.
We got so many texts, stories, and stuff, and half of them say, doesn't matter if they close Roscoe's, that area won't change. You know, Roscoe's just gives them another spot to hang out at.
It's just it's a police situation and a business problem. Like if you're a business owner, you can't allow it. If and I guess maybe.
Yep.
I don't know.
All right,
guys.
This is a problem either way, but would you rather is what we asked. Would you rather find a dead person under your bed or a living one? The poll was almost deadlocked, with 49% saying a person who's alive would be worse, and 51% said a person who is dead would be worse. And again, this is a stranger. This isn't like it's not a living person you would know or a dead person you would know. These both would be strangers. Somebody said they'd rather the person be alive so they could choose to kill them if needed. But are you sure you could do that quick enough? And are you sure? A lot of people say that. We got 3 or 4 texts that said, even if I find a living person under my bed that's a stranger, they're going to be a dead person.
Yeah, we've had quite a few texts to that.
but a lot of people say that, and a lot of people, you put them in that position. Could you really kill another human being, even though maybe they want to kill you? If they're going to kill you, you have to kill back. You just have to, or you die. So I get that. But what if they're not a threat? A
couple situations where I would enjoy a living person under my bed, okay? Number one, and these two people are like offbeat people,
right?
So they might maybe they would end up under your bed. Number one, Jennifer Coolidge. She's crazy and fun, and that would be an absolute blast to find her alive under my bed. Same sentiment with Jeff Goldblum.
I know, but it's so funny. You think, Jennifer Coolidge, you're under my bed. Hey, what's up? Can I get you something to drink?
Yeah, and then we'd be like best friends.
I know, right?
And I feel the same way about Jeff Goldblum. Then we're buddies. Like we're hanging out all the time now because you decided that you were going to take a nap under my bed. Two great situations there.
By the way, he's playing Oz in the new Wicked movie.
Yeah.
The trailer looks like an amazing movie. It really does.
Good, yeah.
I don't know if Ariana Grande can act or not, but
I think she can. She's very talented.
Is she a Disney or Nick kid? One of them. I think she was on something.
Okay.
She used to be on. Anyway, somebody else said a dead person. This not on our text line. I'm reading from the story here. Somebody else said a dead person may be more gross than scary until you consider that an alive person had to put the dead person there. So they might still be hanging around.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Now, would you proactively try to hide the dead body on your own somehow, or do you think you'd be able to explain this one to the police if you found a dead body under your bed?
Oh, you got to call the cops.
Yeah,
that's mistake number one in any police procedural. Any police procedural, they decide they're going to take care of the body on their own. No, you've got to call the police.
Absolutely.
We know that from LA Law, from NCIS, from every police movie we've ever seen, any crime show. Don't try to hide the body on your own.
Roger said, hell, I already got some skeletons in the closet. What's one more dead under the bed? Mike says, does the dead person stink yet? That is a detail I need before I can decide.
Ooh. If you could get the body to Roscoe's, it feels like it might fit right in.
Carrie says, if the living person is a bikini model, the choice is clear. And also another one, kind of the same. Depends on what she looks like. You guys.
We got to be efficient. We got to execute. I think the mentality and the physicality and the toughness was all there on Saturday. That's it. And in the end, that's what won the game. And so that's good. But it doesn't need to be that way if we're executing better and cleaner, taking care of the football and those things. So you can do both. They're not mutually exclusive. So looking to combine all those as we head into the back half of the season. I think now, there's a confidence coming out of it. Like, okay, we just did this. This is who we can be. But it's no good if we don't do it again this week.
Love football season. 7:39. That's Kelly Quinn. I'm Thick Rick, and he is Hall of Fame legend Jeff Logan. Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, everybody. How are we?
Good,
Good.
man.
Man,
Good.
how great is it to be here on this Friday, 1 week after that fabulous victory over Penn State University? And just kind of think of where our mood would be today had we not won that game, and now all of a sudden we're talking about how do you salvage the season? Because that's where we were. This was a meaningful game,
That's
to
right.
say the very least.
Yep.
And if you saw any of the post-game celebration that went on.
Oh, my gosh.
The celebration between head coach Ryan Day and Chip Kelly was like two kids that had just won the lottery or something. I mean, they were jumping all over each other. These are grown-ass men jumping all over each other, patting themselves. I mean, it was beautiful to watch.
Showing they have no rhythm.
Yeah, well, and then the dancing part of it in the locker room was just hilarious. I mean, my goodness. And when Jim Knowles, who's the defensive coordinator, was thrown into the middle of the mosh pit, basically, to be able to celebrate with the team. Here's a guy that is as laid back can be, just a good old country gentleman, and there he is in there doing hip-hop dancing and everything else, and I was like, are you kidding me? But that's what this game has really become. That's the excitement, that's the brotherhood that they talk about, and really good to see those guys have themselves rewarded for their performance in a very difficult environment. And what a rugged start when you have a pick six at the beginning of the game. Gosh. And I think what we witnessed with our quarterback is that Will Howard has the experience, has the maturity to be able to move on to the next play.
Yep, got to forget it.
And not sit in it.
Yep.
And too many will go over and make a big deal out of it on the sidelines and everything else. He was all business.
Yeah.
And we're going to get this thing done. So, a terrific game, and probably the penultimate part of that game was taking the ball first and 99 at the 1 yard line at the end of the game and going, 10 or 11 straight plays and doing nothing but run the damn ball.
Down their throat.
I loved it. It was terrific.
So good.
Props to those boys up front on that offensive line. They were so impressive. I love Donovan Jackson this morning. I mean, I just love that kid.
The Donovan Jackson, for those that don't know, he preseason All-American at the left guard position. We have lost two tackles that were lined up to his left that have been out for injury. One gone for the season, the other one maybe. And so they moved Donovan Jackson to that tackle position. And that's kind of like going from driving a SUV to a school bus.
Right.
All right. It's different playing that position. It is just different. And if you're on the edge, like he was, that left tackle position, you have the requirement of protecting your quarterback's backside. And so that is critical that you're really good. And he was going up against Abdul Carter, who is the All-American defensive end from Penn State, who's considered one of the best edge rushers in all of college football. And there were a couple times where he got beat.
But he won the other
35
battles.
But the beauty of this game is right in that fourth quarter. I don't know if you noticed Donovan Jackson. He gave the Zeke Elliott feed me kind of deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Where he's
on the offensive line.
It just feed me, meaning that he wanted to just run the damn ball. And so I thought that was terrific. I don't know if you saw Seth McLaughlin, who's the starting center he's a transfer from Alabama, and he has been talked about all year about what a great job he's done quarterbacking that offensive line, making all the calls and doing all the things that he needs to be able to do. Well, Seth McLaughlin came up with an idea after the game that he was having a hat made, that a baseball cap, golf cap, that on the front of it just says "Run the damn ball."
I love it. Yep.
And he put it up for sale for charity. And they sold out in 45 minutes.
I believe it.
They
I
sold
believe
out.
it.
And so they're getting a whole new, order set and everything else.
Oh, good, because I want one.
But that has become the mantra of this football team. And when you get the offensive line kind of buying into, we want to run it down your throat, there's nothing better for a former running back to be able to look at it. Because I could tell my offensive line whether or not they were just like, let's go.
Yeah.
And there's other times where they're like, do we have to do this again?
Well, I just want to that's great, and I love it. I say that a lot when I'm watching football games. Just run the damn ball,
right?
But I do wonder, are like Ibuka and Mr. Smith and Tate over here going, well, now wait a minute.
Yeah. No, I like him throwing a long bomb down the field. I do love that move as well.
But you can do that if you like run the ball 5-6 times down their throat and then you hit them with the bomb. It's all right.
Well, at the end of the game, where you've got what they call the 4-minute drill. Now, we've always talked about a 2-minute drill. Everybody knows what that is. But the 4-minute drill, they actually practice, and the idea is to kill the clock in that 4 minutes, and you need 2 first downs and punt. And that is the goal of the 4-minute drive, a drill. So 2 first downs, punt it, flip the field, give them the ball with less than a minute, from their own 20-yard line maybe, and make them go down the field and beat you. So that's the attitude of the 4-minute. Well, we turned the 4-minute drill into the 5-minute and 13-second drill, and we're able to celebrate by taking the ball home with us.
Oh, I loved it.
I'm watching that drive and going, man, we're on the 1. Okay, we just got to get into field goal range, because we get a field goal, it's over.
Yep.
And then they just kept pounding, and then I'm like, all we need now is a first down, and it's over. I'm like, where did all that?
We don't need any points.
5 minutes they sucked. That was unbelievable.
It was terrific.
Sucked that off the clock.
Penn State had 3 timeouts. They had the 2-minute timeout in their pocket, and Ohio State was going to run that ball. There was no way we were going to pass it and stop the clock on an incomplete pass and give another free first down. The first play of that drive was the quarterback sneak, which, my goodness, we haven't seen a quarterback sneak at Ohio State in a century, it seems like, and now it's becoming part of our offense. Will Howard carried the ball 12 times in that game.
Yeah.
That's the most that he has carried the ball in any game this season, and most of them were designed quarterback runs. So he had to become part of that offensive scheme.
That's great.
And I thought it was terrific.
And they can do quarterback sneaks when it's like 4th and 2 and they're getting it, because they're getting 3 and 4 yards on these quarterback sneaks.
Well, on first down at that 1-yard line, they went quarterback sneak and they picked up 6.
Yeah.
All right. and that was just terrific. Now, that was after a goal line stand by our defense. It was absolutely spectacular. Yep. And I know there's a lot of James Franklin critics out there about the play calling that Penn State had in that situation. But that was our guys wanted it more than your guys. Yeah. And that was the difference in that goal line stand.
There's Donovan Jackson talking about his first start at left tackle.
I knew coming to this game they had probably one of the best rushers outside of us. So I knew I had to be on my P's and Q's for sure. Outside of my position, it is what it is. I knew once the situation arose, I may have had to play tackle. I haven't played since high school, but I was like, you know what? Played it once, I can play it again. But it's great to win in these type of environments. It wasn't easy. I had to get out the mud a little bit. But, at the end of the day, it's a win. So that's what we're happy about.
Yeah.
Pretty good leader.
I played it in high school. I can do it again.
Exactly. Pretty good leader. Pretty good guy to have up there. You take a guy that's the Donovan Jackson size, 6'4", 320 pounds. He can play wherever he wants to, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And it was a special game. I was in our post-game show over on WTVN radio. I was talking about the fact that James Franklin, and I think I talked about this in the pregame, has an awful record against Ohio State.
Is it 1-9?
Now goes to 1-10.
1-10
against Ohio State.
Yikes.
And James, you can't ignore that. That's Cooper-esque,
right?
With us and the team up north. Michigan has dominated us in the last few seasons, but Ohio State has continued to dominate in this series. And, the point that I want to make as it relates to James Franklin and Penn State, because I have a great deal of respect for their program over there, is that the 12-team playoff benefits a team like Penn State greatly. Because in my opinion, with a 14 playoff like we've had in the past, Penn State was never going to be good enough to beat Ohio State and Michigan in the same year, and they were in the same division. So they were going to play both of those teams every year, and it was never going to happen under James Franklin's leadership. Now, all of a sudden, they get a pass because they will, like this year, they don't play both teams. So they get a pass, and, Michigan's not as good this year, but they literally don't play both teams, and they don't have Oregon on their schedule either. All right. So not until they get to a Big Ten championship game would they even face the best team, at least at this stage, Oregon in the Big Ten Conference. So great benefit for them. And if Penn State is really happy with being a really top, understand this, very high second tier.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're not the prettiest girl at the dance, but you're close. And you're never going to be the prettiest girl at the dance. Ever. Just not going to happen.
Right.
That's where Penn State is, but at least you're going to get an invitation to the dance now, and before you never did.
And there's a chance the pretty girl falls down and breaks her leg and has to go home.
Good point.
So, speaking of the dance, what'd you think about those first rankings? Here we were. I mean, the Big Ten, 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think it needs some explanation because there was some confusion when it first came out that here's Ohio State ranked number 2,
but they're the fifth
in the
seed.
rankings, but you're the number 5 seed.
Right.
How does that work?
Right.
Well, the reason for that, everybody, is that the top 4 seeds go to the top 4 conference champions.
Right.
And right now, Oregon would be considered the conference champion because they're first in the league and they beat Ohio State. So we got the best seed we possibly, and you can't have 2 from the same conference in the top 4 seeds.
Right.
So you're going to have the top 4 Power 4 conferences are going to have spots there. And there's some criticism about that because out in the Big 12, which is not a great league right now, that's where BYU got
BYU's
the 4th
got a 4th
seed.
Yeah, it's weird.
And there are better teams out there than BYU, yet they're getting treated because of the perceived championship of the Big 12.
Yeah, it's like the NFL now.
It truly is.
Because, I mean, you
win your division.
Yeah.
You're in.
You're in.
You get a bye.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going on in college football. Who said we're not trying to emulate the pros? Right? We're paying our guys as much as they're making in the pros, and now we're treating our playoffs the same way.
Look, you know what? Hopefully we'll just take care of Oregon in the Big Ten championship game, and we'll take that top spot. But guess what? If we end up number 2 and the 5th seed, that just means we get to host a playoff game, and wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, right now, if it stopped the way that it is right now, Ohio State on December 20th or 21st would be hosting Boise State.
Oh, my gosh.
In Ohio Stadium.
That is crazy.
How about that?
Yeah.
That is
so
crazy.
Emails went out to season ticket holders yesterday for being able to pre-buy seats for the Big Ten championship game if you're in it, and for the first round of the playoffs if we're hosting. So those tickets went out, or requests went out, and I have not been deep enough into it yet to see what the cost of those tickets are. I do recall that Big Ten championship tickets in the past were like, $350 a piece minimum for the worst seats in the building. I can only imagine what the college football playoff tickets in round number 1 are going to be. But Ohio State would, if it stopped right now, would be hosting that first week of the playoffs. So interesting. So final score last week, guys. Ohio State wins at Penn State 20-13. And Kelly was vacationing. I think she was
she sent in her score, though.
Yeah, I know that, but she was lounging.
Lounging, right. I was lounging.
She had her feet up.
Yeah. Eating bonbons.
Bonbons, the whole
Taking a lot of deep
thing.
breaths
And
of
watching
oxygen.
TikTok videos.
The first text I got from her was 72-0, but then she put a little smiley face, so I knew there was another one coming. And what was Kelly's prediction?
Kelly's prediction was 24-20.
All right.
So she was 11 points off the total. I was 35-14, so I was completely out of it. Jeff Logan predicted 23-19, putting him 9 points off the total. Jeff got himself a win.
How about that? That's maybe the second in the last 5 years.
It's not that
knuckleheads.
bad. That's not that bad.
You hip checked me right out of the win.
It's funny the way the game was progressing. It's both of these teams, both high-powered offenses, but both with really good defenses. Only gave up 3 field goals in the second half of play.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked much about Purdue. That's the game tomorrow, a 38-point favorite.
Yeah. I mean, they got 1 win this year, and that was over Indiana State.
Yeah.
And they've been blown out by Wisconsin, Notre Dame, Oregon, Nebraska. And you know what, Jeff? We need a blowout.
I know.
We need one, and we need a shutout blowout. That's what we need. But you're first, sir, so what's your prediction?
People are going to compare games. And
yeah.
If you look at Ohio State and Oregon as being the class of the Big Ten right now, Oregon beat This Purdue team at Purdue, 35-0. Yep. Ohio State, a 38-point favorite in this game. It's not going to be one of those games where you're going to be able to build up the psyche of the football team and tell them that they're going out there and playing against a team that they're not. But I think this team wants to clean the slate from what they looked like last time they were in Ohio Stadium against Nebraska. So Ohio State will dominate. There's no doubt about it. This one will be 52-13.
Oh, wow.
I've got some points coming out of the Purdue's.
All right.
52-13, which is a whole lot different, Kelly, than
I wrote it down.
I know.
52-3.
52-3.
Yeah.
I kind of like your number, girl, because I think our defense will shut them down. But the fact that they just have nothing to lose, I think they're going to come out flinging the ball all over the place.
Man, I'm always the one who bets the highest points on the Buckeyes.
You got it tighter?
I got 49-0.
Well, those are the same.
No, I know, but I usually have the highest score for the Buckeyes. I don't know how to feel about this.
Well, that's 7 touchdowns.
Like, should I have made it 56? But no, that's my prediction.
All right, well, we'll see how it all shakes out. And
but I want that shutout.
Yeah, good number for you here. I want you to, because you remember a week ago we had Ryan Day haters, and they've quieted. They haven't gone away, but they've quieted to a certain degree.
Yes.
Well, you know what they say, winning cures everything.
All right. The game against Purdue Saturday will be Ryan Day's 69th game as the Ohio State head football coach. It will be the 60th game that his Buckeyes have been ranked in the top 5 or higher.
Wow. Now, how can you get mad at that?
No kidding.
I know why they get mad though. They get mad because of his record against top 5 teams.
I understand that,
and I'm not. I love Ryan Day, so I don't care about that. But I'm just saying, that's why they get mad.
And that win at Penn State against number 3 Penn State is the first over a top 5 opponent in a true road game since winning at number 2 Texas in 2006. The losses when those occurred, again, these are true road games.
Right.
They lost at USC in 2008, lost at the team up north last year, and lost to Oregon this year in 2024. So the only way you can get it better is to get that win, and he put that one in his pocket, and they cannot take it away.
Nope.
That's the benefit. So that's good stuff. Good to be with you guys.
You too. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
Whitehall police are warning residents about a registered sex offender who was arrested a few weeks ago, accused of taking upskirt videos of a young girl, and then they found more videos on the guy's phone with other weird things happening, not only at a Walmart, but at an unnamed convenience store and an unnamed park. The guy they arrested was Daniel Shope. Now, he is out on bond, but he's accused of trying to take an upskirt video of a young girl in the toy department at Walmart on October 20th. I mean, 10 years minimum for that, right?
I just don't understand.
You're a disgusting human.
How do they still put like a camera on their shoe kind of thing?
I don't exactly know what the details are here, but anyway, this guy was found guilty back in 2014 of third-degree sexual battery in Licking County, and that was in 2014. And then he was arrested on the Olentangy bike path for public indecency and engaging in a sex act in 2021. This guy's out of control.
How many times does it have to be said? They cannot be cured. They can't. We see it time and time again. There is no cure for this sickness.
It is, I don't know what you do, man. I don't know what you do. But you certainly can't have someone like this out on bond. I'm not quite sure how that happens. This is a third offense, and it's involving a young girl.
Right.
Good night. Southern California wildfire fueled by strong Santa Ana winds has forced over 10,000 people from their homes. The mountain fire broke out in Ventura County Wednesday morning. Ventura County is like Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley. It has scorched over 20,000 acres so far. At least 2 people have been injured. The blaze is just 5% contained. Meta has been looking to use nuclear power to meet the enormous power demands of its artificial intelligence projects. But those plans have been derailed because of bees. Apparently, Meta was planning to build an AI data center near an unspecified nuclear plant here in the U.S. so they can take advantage of some nuclear power. The project was completely scrapped after rare bees were found at the site. So this discovery of this rare species of bees meant that the environmental and regulatory challenges ahead of Mark Zuckerberg to get this thing approved and built was going to be way too tall of an order. He was like, yeah, that's fine. We'll forget about it. Meta does continue to search for power sources, including nuclear options. Microsoft and Amazon going in the absolute same direction with nuclear power. Microsoft has announced a deal to revive one of the reactors at 3 Mile Island. All right.
Oh, wow.
So they've announced this deal to revive a reactor at 3 Mile Island to power its data centers. Amazon had a plan to build a data center next to the Susquehanna Steam Electric Nuclear Plant, but those plans were rejected last week by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. So it looks like a tough road ahead in terms of regulatory approval.
Yeah.
But that is the next step.
Well, I remember when all this AI stuff started, and that was the one thing that I kept reading about, and I know we talked about it a couple times, that the problem ahead was going to be the amount of power that AI required and how it was going to suck us dry unless we did something. So, yeah. I mean,
My idea is I need some of these rare species bees that I can let loose in Licking County because I'm about so sick of the data centers that are going up. It is making my county so ugly. It's making my county ugly, and it's taking up beautiful farmland. So if I get a hold of some of those rare bees, turn them loose. Wait, I need to get them in some sort of a lovey-dovey situation so we can create more.
Oh.
And then let's fill Licking County with rare bees, shall we?
Well,
stop this flipping construction of these data centers. Am I nuts? Do I sound old? I'm tired.
No, but you do some crazy stuff like that, you're going to be the subject of the next 3 things you need to know on here. You know what I mean?
I mean, here's the thing. It's like you're ruining my neighborhood with your giant, fat, ugly data centers. But, you won't put them in the heart of New Albany. No, you went ahead and just annexed my part of Licking County, made it New Albany, and now you stick all your ugly stuff in there. Yeah, I don't appreciate it, New Albany. All right, those are your 3 things.
The Offspring on the Morning Blitz at 8:11. That's Kelly Quinn. I'm Thick Rick, and we have got your tickets to see Jerry Cantrell doing all that Alice in Chains music at the Bluestone on Tuesday, February 18th. Tickets are on sale at liveatthebluestone.com. Going to have Filter with him, and we got a pair of tickets to give away. And you are listening this hour for the Chili Peppers Under the Bridge. When you hear Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you start calling 1-800-821-9970. And caller number 16, you're going to get hooked up with a pair of tickets to the Jerry Cantrell concert. All right. I know, things are tough financially. A lot of people, facing economic hardship. This story came right out of Florida. This is a Florida man right here. A 27-year-old Florida man. He was arrested the other night at exactly 2:44 a.m. on Wednesday when Trump emerged as the winner. He'd gone to a gentleman's club. He got himself a lap dance to celebrate, and then he refused to pay for it. And he tried to leave. He tried to run out of the club and not pay for his lap dance.
Wow, like a dine and dasher.
Right, a dance and dasher.
Dance and dasher. I think there are big burly men there meant to stop you from doing that.
The manager just called the police. They found him and arrested him. He got charged with misdemeanor petty theft. He was booked into the county jail and released on a $40 bond.
Jeez, a $40
bond.
I hope they gave that $40 to the dancer.
Well, that's how much the dance fee was.
Oh, okay.
$40. So
did they hand it over to her?
I would imagine.
I hope so.
I would hope so. But
degrade yourself for a freaking loser.
I mean, I've never heard of stealing a lap dance ever. I guess you can try, but
I do feel like you'd get the crap kicked out of you at many strip clubs, right?
Yeah, I know. But, that's a tough one, too, because then you get sued. Especially if you were not a physical threat. You were just trying to leave the club, and then somebody beats you up, and then they sue you. It's going to happen.
Now, I don't know about the world of lap dancing, but Danielle says, what strip club doesn't charge up front for a lap dance?
That's what I thought.
So normally you pay ahead of time, huh?
I don't know, but
and maybe
that's what
a tip
I thought.
Afterwards,
that would make
based
sense.
on performance. And
that would make sense.
If you give a lot of notes about the next time you want a lap dance, and you get less of a tip, I guess.
So there's a flat fee, and then you can leave a tip.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. That sounds how it should be.
Did he say, I got your tip? Or anything like that?
I didn't get any details like that. Cage the elephant on the Morning Blitz. It's 8:22. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, and a new relationship trend. Couples are using ChatGPT to win fights. Well, one of the members of the couples, especially when it comes to young couples, this is happening a lot. They're using it to officiate their arguments and help them in fights.
Oh, like who's right?
Yeah.
Type situation?
Yeah, you feed it the details of your argument along with each person's stance, and the idea is that it's a robot, so it'll stay neutral.
Well, as long as it's not mean-spirited, I don't hate it.
Now, Huffington Post talked to a few experts who said going to ChatGPT for relationship advice might not be the worst idea for some stuff, especially if you can't afford a therapist, but you got to be careful because it's not really that neutral. It could be a good tool if you need to vent or general advice on how to, have a productive argument. But if you ask it something in a biased way, it's going to answer in a biased way.
Okay.
All right.
Who's right? Me and my smart argument, or my boyfriend and his dumb argument? Like
right.
that, you can't be biased.
Yeah,
like that.
no. It specifically said, like, if you tell it, I think they're being a jerk. Am I nuts? Well, to ChatGPT, they're going, okay, that person's being a jerk, so you're right in what you're saying. Because you're saying he's being a jerk.
Yeah.
It
can't really figure out the intention of what you're saying. It just uses your words.
You have to, everything matters.
It's like Thick Rick. Every word matters.
Every word matters.
It's literal.
Damn it.
ChatGPT is literal, just like Thick Rick.
It is. Maybe I'm the guy on the other end.
Ooh, wouldn't that be interesting? You're like the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Now, this is hilarious. This part to me is so funny because here you are, your ChatGPT is being used in this argument. You're asking it for advice. Well, there's a 25-year-old guy who went to Reddit for advice because his girlfriend is constantly using ChatGPT for advice.
Oh, how funny.
Arguments. She's using it. All right, I'm going to ask Reddit. I'm not asking ChatGPT. I'm going to the real people. He said she'll pause a fight, go into another room, ask ChatGPT about it, and then come back with a well-constructed argument and break down everything he said or did.
Yeah, that's not really fair, because if you're going to agree to an argument, you have to have at least some knowledge base, don't you, for what you're arguing?
Yeah.
Now, like I've said, if I'm talking politics or anything, I'm quickly out of my depth. So I know not to start those arguments because I'm going to look like a dummy in about 30 seconds.
Well, like you, he said he doesn't think that's a fair way to fight, so he asked her to stop. And she ran that through ChatGPT, and it said he was just being insecure.
I feel like this relationship's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work. And a lot of these relationships are going to end. I guess the divorce rate just wasn't high enough. We got to increase it some more.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen here. You're letting a computer dictate your life.
Okay, I'm reading this thing in Cosmopolitan. It was just published. Lily Allen is married to Stranger Things star David Harbour.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She said that she uses ChatGPT to help her formulate her thoughts when she's arguing with her husband, David Harbour.
Then they're not your thoughts.
They're not your thoughts. But also, I will say, though, sometimes your communication style, it's difficult to have clear communication. And when you, can sort of formulate a little more clearly than you naturally would be able to, and it can still express your thoughts in a more concise way. I like that, but it's still cheating.
Well, now, I think if you have feelings about something that you're upset about, things are bothering you, I think you probably could go to ChatGPT and say, I am currently feeling this, and this in my relationship with this person. What's the best way for me to put that into words, to tell them, to explain it to them? I think then you might get something, that you could use, but it's, so I don't know.
But it's still not you. It's not your thought process. It's not anything like that.
Well, and if this isn't going to wreck relationships, wait till you hear about the 4B movement. Kelly sent me this yesterday, and I'm like, what is going on in this world? This is not, it's spreading to the United States now.
Yes, it's already well in effect in South Korea. But, people, women in the United States are getting on board. Not all women, some women.
The 4B movement. You guys, this is incredible. We're going to get into this next. Red Hot Chili Peppers on the Morning Blitz, 8:36 with Kelly Quinn and Thick Rick. That was the song you were listening for to win those Jerry Cantrell tickets, and we call him Smoke. That's his nickname. He goes by Smoke. Yes. I wonder what that's about. But Smoke got his tickets to see Jerry Cantrell, so he's hooked up. All right. Kelly sent me a text to a story last night, and I'm sitting here reading this thing going, what are we doing? What's going on? This is insane. I mean, we are in the battle of the sexes has now begun. Is this what they were talking about when they said World War III was coming?
I don't know.
Because the battle of the sexes is underway, and it's happening around the world. And it's called the 4B movement. Kelly, you said, I'm like, you changed everything with that, sending me that text.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because there was just a couple other things we were going to do on the, this morning on the air, and it's like, nope, now we got to talk about this, because this is unbelievable.
It's really catching steam on TikTok. I've seen a ton of videos. But the 4B movement basically apparently started in South Korea, and it is a way to boycott a system that, quote, perpetuates gender inequality. All right, so the 4Bs, it's in Korean. The B word is a Korean word that says no. So it basically means no sex, no dating, no marriage, no child rearing. So these women, and it's basically a radical sect of feminism that's doing this. It's not even, there aren't very many takers in South Korea either. And a small number of women in the United States have said they are going to join this 4B movement. Some of them even shaving their heads. And it's all as a result of the recent presidential election that they feel like their rights are going to be taken from them.
Well, I mean, I heard plenty of Democratic, I heard a Democratic senator the other day saying Donald Trump will punish women. He said he would punish women. I'm like, did he really say? Who would stand up and say, I'm going to punish women? I don't know, but here's just one girl who posted a video.
The first question I'm asking everybody in my life from this moment forward, who did you vote for? If I get anything aside from Kamala, get the out of my face. I am done, honestly. It costs me $0 to cut people off. And in this economy, I'm taking all the free I can get.
Now, I will say, if you hold a view like that towards any group of people, you are what they call a bigot.
Yeah.
If you will not tolerate a person who holds a different set of beliefs than you do, and you want them out of your face, unfriend me, don't be around me, you're a bigot. That is a textbook definition.
Yep. Well, this is gaining traction. Ever since the election. Well, it started before the election happened. Like you said, it started in Korea. And, and a lot of it's about abortion and stuff. And Trump keeps saying there's going to be no national ban. It's up to each state individually. We voted here
Yeah, it's enshrined in our Constitution,
and it was
you have a right to an abortion here.
And
but listen, if you
the vote
want,
wasn't even close.
If you want to avoid that situation, then I guess abstinence is a good way to do that.
Here's another one.
Donald Trump is president, and I think all women should stop having sex for the next 4 years in protest and protection of your bodies. I think that is sufficient enough reason to stop having sex. This vote wasn't a vote for Americans. This vote was for men. And unless we want to become the Handmaid's Tale, then us women need to protest because this is some buttery bullshit.
Well, I think we're going back to the dark ages, don't they?
Yeah, and here's what I will say, no matter what your belief system is, it is never a good idea to make a giant decision for your life when your emotions are so high.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For all of us. I mean, who among us has not ever lit someone up over text or email because you're so angry at the moment that you say a bunch of things or maybe do something that you regret? And you have to sort of walk back later. It's like, it's okay to have the emotions about being disappointed with the election. I know there are a lot of people disappointed and feeling some kind of serious emotional way about it. If you can give yourself a second to sort of let things settle before you make a giant decision about never dating for the next 4 years or whatever, not getting married or vowing to never have kids because you're so mad about Donald Trump, give it just a little bit because I guarantee you in 2 months when you're bald, you're not having sex or dating, and everybody else is moving on with your life, you're not going to be super happy. You're going to be like, maybe I jumped the gun on this one.
Yeah, why you got to shave your head, though?
I don't know.
Just a sign of solidarity among them,
it's
among
like,
the 4B movement people?
Yeah, I think it's just like...
You showed me a video, though. There's a girl who had cancer. And she goes, I just want to let everybody know that I have cancer and I'm not stupid. And I was like, oh my gosh, look what's going on.
It's weird out there in social media land right now.
Virginia said, her voice said all I need to know about her, let alone her views. Kevin said, best gift she could give her so-called friends is to cut them off. They don't need her dark energy around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering. I wondered about this, and maybe the girls out there who if you disagree with this 4B movement, do you say to yourself, if you're single, well, good, then that leaves more selection for me.
Yeah.
I mean, do you wonder? I just wonder. Do you think that good? That's a better pull for us to go through.
I don't think a ton of people feel this way, but I do understand that there are a lot of people who have feel a strong way about
right.
The election and all that.
Sure,
so
of course.
I totally get it. I don't know that there are a lot of takers. I think right now it's just one of those sort of, we need to do something. I need to sort of be able to make myself feel better in some kind of way. Like I'm moving toward my own, I don't know, goals or I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well.
How does no sex for 4 years make you feel better? That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to regret that maybe in a month or so, 2 months, 6 months. I want to see the number of women who say they're going to join this movement. I want to check back with me in 6 months.
Right.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida, because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan, and I'm dead serious.
Okay.
Now, I did see one woman tell married women they need to get divorced.
Oh, my God.
And join the movement. And now, obviously, I don't think anybody's doing this unless they're already wildly unhappy in their marriage. But, oh, gosh. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Rob says he thinks I'm missing the point. I'm not sure. Rob, why don't you tell me what the point is that you think I'm missing?
I'm going to be honest. I was very blindsided by the results this morning. I've decided that cigarettes don't count today, and I honestly might go get a tattoo. But I also have decided that for the next 4 years, I am going to abstain from schmex with men. And funny enough, I actually just broke up with my boyfriend a handful of days before the election. I wish him well, though. So I highly encourage any other women that are single, delete your dating apps. I think we can look to South Korea and the 4B movement as a point of inspiration for us.
Wow. Man,
now, it's funny. People making, this is a pretty big commitment you're making for 4 years. No sex, no men, no marriage, no child rearing. I do want to say, because she mentioned that she's going through a breakup. She just broke up with her boyfriend and then is extraordinarily disappointed in the election results. So she's dealing with two highly emotional things in her life. And it is a really common joke to tell women who are breaking up, get through the emotions. Do not make a decision on a drastic haircut right now. Don't get your hair cut. You're going to be disappointed when the emotions like go down from it, because people just looking for a change. They're looking for something to do to make them feel better, to soothe their emotions. So, I think it's never a great idea to make a big life decision when your emotions are high.
Yeah.
You need to have some reason in there, and that will sort of even out in the coming weeks. And
well, she broke up with her boyfriend because they did not agree on who to vote for. He was opposed, and so that's why.
Well, lucky him then, I guess. That'd be a real tough. I mean, I'm not saying anything politically. I'm just saying you can't, if somebody's really extreme like that on one side or the other, that'd be difficult to maintain that type of relationship.
Okay, now I want to, I'm fair. I'm bringing this to the light and seeing what everybody thinks. So I want to read Mitzi's text. I don't know anything about this. I hadn't heard this before, but Mitzi said, it's disappointing you're talking about women choosing not to have sex, but ignoring the men on social media posting your body, my choice. Both are extreme, but both exist, and you're choosing to talk about the choice to not have sex rather than the rapist. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. I've never heard about that, and I'm assuming that's as small a number of people that there are the women who are joining the 4B movement.
Yeah, I mean, Mitzi, I think we are just talking about the 4B movement because it's really caught some steam here in the last couple days. We weren't trying to be unfair. It's just this is happening, so we're sort of highlighting it.
Yeah, I don't know about this other thing going on.
Yeah.
But that's horrible. If there are men online saying your body, my choice, like they can do what they want with you, they're, you can lock them up and throw away the keys as far as I'm concerned.
How about just put them on your list of people not to date? That's a terrible person if they're saying that to you as a woman. And to Mitzi's point, I think a lot of people are saying, it's not like a gender war, this 4B movement. It is about women's safety. That's kind of what they're saying.
Right.
So I get that, Mitzi. I hear what you're saying. I guess we were just trying to talk about what the 4B movement is.
Yeah, because this is the first I ever heard of it. It was when Kelly sent me this link last night to the story. We are getting some funny texts here. Nate says, I've been married for 25 years. I think my wife already started years ago on the 4B movement. Craig says, my buddy's wife wants a divorce for voting for Trump. That is crazy to me.
I kind of feel like maybe there is a few years worth of other problems in that marriage as well, because I don't see that a vote among a loving couple would cause a divorce. It feels like other things have gone wrong there.
Yeah. I mean, everybody needs to just relax and be good to each other, man. It's
Keith from Galleon said, Kelly, we'd love for you to show us where in the Constitution it says you have the right to an abortion. I'm talking about the Ohio, we changed our state constitution in 2022 to enshrine a woman's right to abortion in the state of Ohio.
Yes. That's
what we did.
It's an Ohio constitutional right.
I'm not talking about the U.S. Constitution. I'm talking about the Ohio Constitution.
It's not up to the U.S. anymore. It's up to each state individually. Now, if your state hasn't voted on this, then there's a problem, and that needs to be done. Your state has to vote. And, I mean, it passed here by a landslide, like 80-some%. So, the people spoke, and you can get an abortion in Ohio if you need to. I don't know, man. It's sad, really, when you look at it. I don't know, these women. I understand they feel the way they do, and I understand if the whole my body, my choice thing. I get it. It's your body. You want your way, and God love you. Do what you got to do. But if you're cutting off your husband from sex, you're punishing your husband.
Yeah, not Trump.
Not right. I mean that. So I don't understand that. I don't know. But the 4B movement, it's alive and well. I wonder, how many people do you think? I mean, do we even have any idea?
Like I said, I'd like to talk to these same people in 6 months
and
see if they're going strong or a year or something like that. God bless. Go do what you need to do for yourself to harness your energy and put it in a direction that you find to be working for you, positive or whatever. So, God bless.
And you're single and you've been on dating sites. You were obviously looking for a guy, and now you just cut yourself off. And you might. What if some great guy comes along, some good-looking, successful, funny guy? He's got his act together and he's interested in you, and you're just gonna
who did he vote for?
Who did you vote for?
I guess that's the bottom line here right now.
What if he says, "Well, I'm not even registered. I didn't vote." Then what do you do? What are you going to do then? What? Oh my gosh! What are you going to do? So, all right. Well, 4B ladies, I guess have at it. But you're gonna let some guys escape. You're gonna let those conservative women get
I
them.
don't think they care. I think they're good with that.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
The lead spokesperson for the Columbus Division of Police, you remember we talked yesterday, like she was fired. Nobody knew why. Her name's Jennifer Watson. She's the second public relations advisor to the Columbus police chief to be fired in the past 2 years. We're like, why did this one get fired? Well, apparently she was still on her probationary period. She'd been on the job 9 months, and she got an unsatisfactory job performance. The Columbus Dispatch got a hold of Jennifer Watson's personnel file through a public records request, and apparently all it says is employee has failed to meet work and performance expectations. So whatever that means, there is the end to that mystery.
It's like you didn't do a good job.
I guess. And the person before her didn't do a good job. So I'm kind of wondering where the problem lies at this point. 3 people being charged in relation to the death of Liam Payne. The former One Direction singer fell from the balcony of a hotel in Buenos Aires last month. Yesterday, Argentina's public prosecutor said someone who was with Payne on a daily basis was charged with abandoning him after his death, and 2 others have been charged for supplying him with drugs during his stay. Well, the voice that people of a certain age heard every single time we logged on to AOL has passed away. Elwood Edwards, who was paid $200 to record "You've Got Mail." It's an iconic line, along with, he also recorded 3 other lines for America Online. He died this week, 1 day before his 75th birthday. Edwards worked for Cleveland TV station WKYC for many years. His wife worked for AOL's predecessor, which is how he found himself with the opportunity to record these messages for AOL, which of course went on to become huge. The other messages he recorded in 1989 were welcome and goodbye and files done.
You've got mail.
Yes.
You said his wife worked for AOL's predecessor?
Yeah, they didn't name what the predecessor was. It just said AOL's predecessor.
And they're from Ohio, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I worked for AOL's predecessor.
What is AOL's
CompuServe.
predecessor? Oh, CompuServe. I wonder if you ever met old Elwood Edwards.
Don't recognize the name.
Yeah.
But I thought his wife worked there.
She did, and they're in Cleveland, so there's a good chance you didn't meet. But anyway, he became a decent level celebrity thanks to his familiar voice, and he was on The Tonight Show in 2015, and in 2016 he revealed that he recorded the messages, the You've Got Mail messages, on a cassette deck at his house.
Gosh.
And that he didn't receive any residuals. It was just a flat $200 fee he charged.
For 4 things.
Yeah, and it's still being used to this day, as we found out.
It was recorded on cassette?
Yes.
Wait, hold on.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Yeah,
I can hear the noise in the background.
I can hear the hiss. Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy. All right, those are your 3 things.